Hello, everyone. This is Robert with the Talk RGV. Tonight, we are talking to Stevie Garcia of what's the production called?
Royalty Productions, Royalty Pageant Productions.
Royalty Pageant Productions.
Mm-hmm.
So, Stevie, how long have you been? You're the director, correct?
Yes, and
How
owner.
long? And director and owner.
Mm-hmm.
So you manage, direct?
Manage, direct, finance, everything all in one. Me and my husband,
Your husband being
Guadalupe Garcia.
Guadalupe Garcia,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well,
Better known as Lupe.
we're going to be talking to Lupe here in a little bit later tonight. But so when did you guys start the pageant?
We started the pageant company again in October, I believe. Um,
2022.
yeah, it was idea that ran through my head at night. I'm a former beauty queen, so
What title?
Miss San Benito.
Miss Sabnito.
Yeah, I did.
And this is back when,
Oh, many years ago. Like,
because we haven't had um, a Miss Sabnito uh, queen
right,
per
correct.
se since, I mean,
I think it
as
was
far
like
as I can remember.
2012, the
Well,
last Miss San Benito.
well before that,
Mm-hmm.
because I went to San Diego High School. I
Right,
graduated in 2000, and I don't ever recall there being like a pageant. I mean, we had the homecoming queen,
correct.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And at parades, that was the only kind of like queen
Court.
court, right? The homecoming court that you would see parades and at school and whatnot. But you didn't really see anything as far as like pageant queens.
No.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so so for this was my first time, and that's how we met, right?
Yes, that's how we met.
Because
Mm-hmm.
initially I was gonna photograph
Mums.
the with your mom.
Yes, my
Okay,
mom.
so we met through your mom, right?
Right.
She is the owner, Esther. She is the owner of Viral Mums,
Yes, and she was also the owner of Allure Productions.
which is a pageant
Yes, which early
prior to.
2000s. Mm-hmm, early 2000s. She had a lot of titles in the Valley. She was a pageant producer for a long time. And I took over from there. I learned from her, so hits close to home.
And for those who don't know, Steve is expecting
Yes, I am a little
a
girl.
little girl, so maybe one day she'll take over.
Hopefully she does. I hope she does.
So going back to the pageants, the company started in October,
Hmm.
and the pageant was in December.
Yes, it was.
Talk to us about like that process of trying to get everything together.
The process was really difficult, actually. It wasn't easy at all. Everybody had the little, question in their head like, oh, because of COVID, and oh, it's pageant world can be a little scandalous with the winning and the losing and stuff like that. So we were just, we were hoping everybody would agree. And after many, many, many years of not having a Miss San Benito, everyone was just on the back end, like, wanting to see how it was going to play out. Um, we ended up doing really well. I mean, it took a while for the school board to come around. Um, we had, some differences with certain members of the school boards and things like that. But we ended up, you know, performing pretty well.
So as far as the school board being involved, is this something that most pageants, especially here locally, um, is the school system something that they get involved with, or can you guys do it separately? Like, can you
Oh,
do it on your own?
yeah, we can do it separately for sure. We just like to tie in the school board because they have, the location that we need.
Because
And
San Benito doesn't have like its own like theater.
they don't. As a matter of fact, I called many, many locations and things like that, and they're like, no, we don't do that type of thing, and it was a lot of doors shut with San Benito. And that's why my last resort was to hit the San Benito High School and get approval through there.
And how did that process go? Like, were they like very because like, again
Yes, they were
they
very
haven't
strict. They're very strict.
very strict,
They needed, background checks, they needed fingerprint, they needed insurance, a lot of things, approvals of the parents, contracts, things like that. It was just a lengthy process, let's just put it that way.
right? But
It was worth it.
but everything came through.
Yes,
I
yes.
was there that evening for your event. Everything came through. We had lovely judges, or I should say, you had lovely judges.
Yeah.
Um, you had a prior Miss. Uh, um, what was her title again? The
Miss, I think Lone Star
Miss Lone Star. No, no,
State.
she is the current Lone Star.
Current Lone
Current
Star.
Lone Star.
Okay.
She just won. Maddie
Yes, Maddie
Ortega.
Ortega.
We had the director of marketing, public relations
Yes.
from the Marine Military Academy,
Miss
Kristen
Lucky.
Lucky, and another the third judge. I didn't get to meet him, but he's like the owner of a florist company.
Yes, he has like a big degree in floral and design and things like that. He's studied, all over the place. And that's why we picked him for one of our,
And each judge, like from my understanding, because we talked right
yes.
prior to this, and each judge brought their own like knowledge, right?
Yes.
Their own experience to judge, to be a judge, right?
Yes, and they had to be outside of the San Benito area. That's why we brought them in from other areas because we didn't want the whole like being biased and knowing who and if you're related to so and so. We brought them from outside locations in to judge.
So for people who don't know, right?
Right.
And I would not say San Benito is a big pageant town.
No, it's not.
Um, and a lot of parents are very unfamiliar with the process. They're unfamiliar, not just parents, but I think the community in general, right?
Community
That's
in
why there's a lot of
general.
hesitance. I think
Yes.
they're afraid,
Well, San Benito is a very tight-knit community.
right?
So, I mean, it's just one word can go south or it can go real good for you. So, we just had to play it out like that and hopefully everybody enjoyed my production agency.
So for those who don't know, um, what are some of the benefits? Like the girls that compete and win and move on. What are some of the benefits of winning a crown or a title?
A title.
As far as well for you, right? Because I understand that every pageant has its own
Yes,
awards.
they have their own criteria. And with us, it's a lot of community service, a lot of things. We try to prep the girls for early college, and it's community service, it's donating their time to different organizations, and just an all around beauty queen standard. That standard has to be high. And they reign for about a year. It's a year, I believe. And I want them to, within that time, to accomplish things that the school district doesn't give them the opportunity to. So it can look good on resumes and it can look good in college applications.
I know here at the gallery, of course, the gallery is not only a photo studio, but it's also a creative space
Yes.
open for creatives. And of course, when you came to me about a week ago asking if you could use the location for training,
For
right?
training.
And we were here the other night, and I was just astonished at these little girls that come in,
Yes.
and you're helping them, prepping them in how to speak
With proper
with proper
etiquette.
etiquette, how to say it, how to stand, how to respond, and and um, and I think this is something that we're lacking, like in schools,
Oh, yes. For
because I
sure.
remember back in the day, I think one of the classes that we used to have was etiquette,
Yes.
right? And you would spend the day, gentlemen, how to be gentlemen and how to be ladies,
Yes.
and that's gone these days,
It is. It's
right?
out the window.
So, and I was so astonished that that one little girl, I think she was like what, 5, 6 years old,
About sex. Yes.
about 6 years old, and she was like the politest. And she came in and hi, and you know,
Nice to meet
nice to
you.
meet you, and
May I take a seat?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
and I really like I was just taken back by it. It was like, and
Yes.
it's a very like amazing experience to see like the future generation, because like I think people see pageants and the first thing they think is Honey Boo Boo.
Oh yes, of course. It's a bad name. That Toddlers and Tiaras show was just they gave it a bad name all around it. The girls in of course it's TV, right?
Yeah.
So it has to be, upbeat for everyone to watch and scandalous for everyone to watch.
But the young girls that were here that night, very polite,
Oh yes.
very down to earth, humble.
Mm-hmm.
Most of from San Benito,
Yes.
I may add, cheerleaders involved with
Bells.
FFA, bells, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of extracurricular activities, and is that seems to be like the normal for the contestants, or what kind of girls are you looking at when they come in?
That is what we look for, and our judges what they look for. I know we have a lot of girls that are, wanting doing the graduation early. They're in STEMs. They're in a lot of debate classes and things like that. We're looking for not a higher standard, but just a better standard of young woman. That's what we look for in our pageant production.
So you just completed in December, Miss San Benito
Right.
and her court.
Hmm.
Um, where did it go from there? Like I know y'all just had an event with law enforcement.
Yes, we did. Cookies for cops.
And how did that like? Is
It
that
was
something planned with the city, or is that you?
No, that was me. That was me calling. I've made multiple attempts with the city to try and involve the girls in community service, but I don't have, callbacks. I don't do any of that. So I, of course, take it upon myself and I call the chief, things like that, directors and but from other organizations, and I'll get a hold of them and tell them like, hey, we want to do this for you. Is it possible? Are you all allowing this right now? And most of them say yes because it's good for the girls. It's good community service time.
So do you feel like right now there's just a lack of exposure, and the city maybe may not know. No, but I think they know.
They
Like
know.
they came on the parade, they won first place.
We did.
Congratulations.
Yes, first place nonprofit organization. Thank you.
So I think maybe right now it's at a point where it hasn't been around in a while.
Right.
Um, maybe they certain people um, are not seeing this pageant program, these young ladies as a resource, right?
Right. Right.
And unfortunately, they get overlooked.
Of course. Yeah.
But it's amazing that you have taken the initiative,
Mm-hmm.
to just go and do it yourself.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We're just gonna go out there, make the phone calls ourselves, build that network in the
Mm-hmm.
community
Always.
yourselves,
Yeah.
and I think it's inspirational, right? Because other girls, and I think that we need more of that, right? We
Mm-hmm.
need these leaders, right, in
Right.
our community.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a small business, right?
It is. Yes.
So it's great for young girls, right, who are coming in young, looking at you
Right.
and being like,
I want to do that one
I want
day.
to do that one day.
Right.
Or, maybe they might do their own little pageant at school, and they want to be the director. They want to be the one
Yeah.
calling the shots, right?
Right.
And that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Again, everything I've seen so far from your organization here when they come to the gallery and they do their photos and their practice walks, I'm really taken back by uh, the level of poise and
Yeah.
humble and elegance that girls as young as 6 all the way up to what's the oldest that they can participate?
Oldest is 19.
What are some of the like I don't know much about pageants, right?
Right.
But I know there's like different levels.
Yes.
What are the levels?
There's different age divisions. So we have about 9 age divisions, and they're like they compete from, 0 to 1, and then 2 to 3, 4 to 5. It goes like that. And we have, our baby miss category. We have our, princess, and then it goes to sweetheart and teen, preteen, and then teen and miss.
So what are some of the commitments, right? Because anything you do in life, whether it be join a club or
That's what we try to teach here. It's not butterflies and rainbows in the world. You have to sometimes get up and go and voice your opinion. That's what I try to teach the girls. If it's a, if you lose one, you get up and try again. That's the pageant world. You might lose this time, but get up and try again. And we try to just give them that confidence, that boost of confidence that young girls don't have anymore. We want them to voice opinions, and we want them to, but at the same time, be polite and be respectful and know when and where to speak.
I got a problem with that. If anybody knows me, maybe I gotta take one of your classes.
Yes, one of my classes. Yes.
But okay, so you just finished San Benito, and obviously they're gonna be doing things throughout the year, right?
Yes, throughout
Do you
the
have
year.
any other events or pageants coming up that your organization is doing?
We're right now we're doing a lot of online pageants. Online pageants are a real good start for the girls. It gives them the feel of, the win. If they do win, it gives them the feel of the picture getting out there and having that confidence of, hey, maybe I can do an in-person pageant. And the next pageant we have, our in-person pageant, is a Miss Los Fresnos. It's a little, Los Fresnos is a very small community, so it's kind of a little difficult for us to get the approvals that we need. We're really working really hard on that. But just like San Benito, everyone has their little, like, hey, well, maybe no, it might not be a good thing to bring that into our community, or maybe yes, or it's just a lot of ifs and, pros and cons.
And that comes, I think, a lot from like ignorance,
Yes,
right? They
yeah,
don't know what a pageant entails. They don't
exactly.
know what it brings to the community. They don't know the resources, and prestige,
Right,
right?
exactly.
Because um, so Mercedes, right? I've been involved with Mercedes, Texas,
Hmm.
and their pageants,
Hmm.
and they've as far as I remember, they've been always doing a pageant,
Oh,
and
yeah.
everybody backs it up, right? It's a big thing. It's a citywide event.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and I wish, much like food trucks, right? In the valley, you're growing in those big cities, and they're like other cities.
Hmm.
I think it's a lot of it. It's got to do with fear, maybe ignorance. They don't know what it entails,
Hmm.
and also what it brings to the city, right? A sense of pride because now you have a queen, San Benito, purple and gold, royalty colors. How
Yes.
do we not have a queen, right?
How do you not, right?
How do you not have a queen?
Yeah.
So, I think it's amazing what you're doing. Do you have any other? You got Miss Los Fresnos coming up.
Miss Fresnos, then
What other
we
titles do you have in your? If anybody's like from Harlingen, do you just cover like the whole valley, Cameron County?
I'm covering Cameron County as of right now. And they are all accredited titles, so they can go on to, Miss Lone Star State and compete, Miss Texas Teen. They're accredited titles, so they're not like just a title that,
Like a made up title?
yeah, any little pageant or made up title or any made up online pageant.
Because I see a lot. So again, I come from the side of ignorance, right? When it
Right.
comes to pageants, and
Hmm.
for me, it's been a learning experience just talking to you. Um, because for me, I see them always as like maybe like a scam.
Yes.
Because there's so many like, oh, Miss South Heart of the Valley,
Hmm.
RGV slash,
So and so and so.
this is whatever, and then you have to pay to vote and this, that, whatever. So, when, and I know there's legitimate pageants out
Oh,
there,
yes.
right?
Yeah. Hmm.
But after being introduced to you and you explaining the process, I mean, this is a legit
Yes. Yes,
pageant.
it
This is
is.
not, and I think maybe a lot of city leaders, excuse me, city leaders, uh, not just in the administrative, but also in schools and whatnot. I think maybe they're coming from that fear. Like, is
It
this
is
a
a fear.
scam?
Yeah.
Or are they going to scam our students?
Yes, it
Right?
is a fear. And I think that's why we keep it at the nonprofit organization, and how I explain to them, and with my portfolio I go and show them, hey, this is what I have to offer for the girls in your community. And it's everything from small scholarship funds to giving back to this, to that. And I explain everything thoroughly, and then they're like, oh,
Mm.
you're not trying to just earn a buck here. You're trying to actually do well for the community. And I think that's why we get our approvals because I'm very, very harsh on that. Yeah.
But that's good. That's good that it's all about education. It's all about educating the public. That's one of the things that I strive to do with photography.
Hmm.
I think there's a lot of misunderstanding because I get that a lot as far as, well, you just push a button. I was like, well, it's a little bit more than that.
It's complex.
It's complex,
Hmm.
and I'll be the first to admit, like, to me, the pageant world was, Ms. Boo Boo or whatever that little girl's name was,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Um, and then you see it and you're like, yeah, this is ridiculous, right? I would never
Right.
want my daughter to be involved in anything like this. But then again, after seeing the process from behind the scenes, the process of when the girls came in for the first time, they got their photo taken,
Very
the
respectful.
interview. I was just, again, I was taken back by 6-year-old little girls
Hmm.
and their poise and they're humble
And it takes one lesson, right, with me to
and it
learn.
takes one lesson because I, again, the other night I saw this little girl come in, sweet girl on her own merit, right? Sweet
Hmm.
girl. But by the time she left here, I saw the difference in her walk,
Yeah, oh yeah.
right?
The
She felt more
confidence.
proud, right? She
Yes.
felt more proud that she
Hmm.
was able to talk to an adult
And hold a
and hold a
conversation.
conversation with an adult,
Hmm.
right? Because many times
Overlook
we overlook the
children.
children.
Yeah.
We like, no, go over there and you
Yeah.
know, or they ask a valid question and they're like, because I said so.
Uh-huh.
Right?
They do that a
And they
lot.
get upset. But this little girl, I saw her. It was her and her sister.
Hmm.
Her sister's a junior, I believe, in
Yes.
San Diego. But she was very poised, very collected. And when she left here, I saw her, like, as she was walking out, she was practicing her walk,
Uh-huh.
her professional walk.
Gives them something to look forward
And it
to.
gives something to look forward to,
Yes, it
right?
does.
You
And
know,
one day I might be a beauty queen. And
and one
one
day
day I
she
might be Miss Texas or
she
Miss
might be,
Universe
she may be, I mean, we just had
or Miss
Miss Universe
Universe.
from Houston,
Yes, from Texas.
from
She
Texas,
won.
you know? One day she might be the next Miss Universe.
Yeah. I think that show, that Toddlers and Tiara show, gave everyone a bad name and a bad taste in their mouth. But I always go back and tell them, like, hey, go look at, our Miss Texas, our Miss Universe, our Miss Lone Star State. Go back and look, go back and look at that. And you're gonna see, it's not a publicity stunt,
No,
it's not a publicity show and to get ratings and things like that. This is a legit company, a legit business. We're trying to help. We're trying to get those girls there to those big pageants.
no, and even then, assuming they don't go, I'm assuming that that's not their career goal, right? Pageants.
Right.
But even then, to head off into college, those
Yes.
college interviews, right? Recruitment interviews, um, they're gonna have a foot
Oh, above the rest.
above the rest.
Of course.
So I have like this almost the same experience with kids, right? I'll have senior kids come, to me. Their parents will bring them to me to do
Photo
like a
shoot.
very special photo shoot, right?
Hmm.
Because every year it's the same thing, right? They do the same pose, the same look, the
Oh,
same
it's the
everything.
same.
They don't know anything else. They come to me and they're like, they leave me tired,
Of
right?
course.
Because I'm
Yeah.
I'm moving them and turn this way and this but then
It's just a closed-minded
they
set.
leave.
Yeah.
They leave, or at least I feel that they leave with like more information
Of
than they
course.
came in with, a little bit
Yeah.
more confident.
Hmm.
And even sometimes their moms would tell me, Robert, now when he takes his picture, he's like, no, Robert said to go like this, like,
Hmm.
and he poses himself now on how to take a good photo.
Hmm.
And,
It's
you know,
just on educating the public and what
yes,
we know. And we're not trying, and I speak for you and myself and, my mom's business, my husband's business. We try to help the
yes,
community. We try with all our heart. And we're not just here to, again, make a buck. We're not here to, yeah, I can snap 1,000 photos and sell them to you at, $300, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to help you.
right.
So if you don't choose to come to me, the next time you choose to go to somebody else, at least you're a little more educated and know.
So what if there was any other business out there that is hearing this podcast
Mm-hmm.
that say, I had no idea this was happening.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to participate or be involved in some way.
Mm-hmm.
How do they reach out to you? Do you do, is there collaborations, advertising? How does that work with other businesses?
So we have a pretty popular Facebook page right now. We also have a website as well, royaltyproductions.com, and then we have our email posted. People really don't email anymore. But my number is always there for anyone to call. I've had people from all over call me and be like, hey, can you explain the pageant world to me because I don't know anything?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. My mom taught me a lot about, patience and to be calm with people because I always have this, like I want people to think like me, right? And you can't do that. You can't do that. You need to help people and you need to calm yourself and explain thoroughly because no one is you. You don't talk to yourself, every day. And my mom helped me a lot with that, especially with starting my businesses here in San Benito. So I learned a lot from her.
Well, I think that's one of the things that people, and I think I can speak for you too. Like, people like me, we know what we want. We know,
Yes, very
right?
strong-willed.
Very strong-willed, and and we want it now, right?
Yes,
Um, we are 100% committed
to what we
to
do.
what we do, to
Hmm.
what we want done, right? And speaking for myself, I see what I want to do in my head, and I see the vision, and I
Yes,
want to like start doing it right
that
now,
day.
today. Let's get it done. Let's go get this. Let's go get that. Let's shoot it tomorrow. Let's do it.
We're doing it, yeah.
And then you come across barriers, and the barriers are people who
Are just scared
who
to,
don't understand you.
yeah, to take that
They don't
jump.
want to take that risk with you, right? They
Yes.
don't want to take that jump with you, or
Hmm.
if I jump, where do I land?
Exactly.
What's in it for me? And because they don't understand the world that we're coming from,
Right.
it's hesitant, and then we get frustrated
Yes.
because you want to do it like now,
Mm-hmm.
but I think you're right. This is where we come in. This is where like this is the reason why I started this podcast.
Yes.
I want to introduce people from our community,
Right.
small business owners from
Hmm.
our community that a lot of people may not know are here,
Right.
right?
Right.
And
Just
I want people to understand that um, why we do what we do and
yes.
how we do it, you know.
Hmm.
And sorry if we get frustrated, because
I apologize all the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the same way because I'll text message people like
Yes.
3 4 times,
Oh, me too. And
and
I'm
be like,
calling.
and sometimes like, look, I'm so sorry that I'm bugging you. I just need an answer,
Yeah.
right? And it's okay if you say no. I just need to know.
I think our ex-principal here in San Benito, he probably knew my number by
Right,
memory. Yeah, because I called every day
right,
and I didn't let up. And I'm one of those people that if you're not giving me an answer right now, I'm gonna get it.
yeah.
And
Well, that's the thing. All we need is an answer,
yes, just tell
yes or
me
no, so
yes
we
or
know
no.
where we stand.
Don't leave me hanging,
Don't
right?
leave me hanging, right?
Hmm.
Because and unfortunately, like in your case, right? In my case, it's just me. It's just me that's kind of like being held back. But in your case, you have parents, small children who are waiting to be like, where's the event,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
And
And if we
and
don't get those approvals, then I have no answer to give them.
right.
And so that's kind of what's happening right now with Los Fresnos a little bit. And I just, I'm a good, hopefully a good, director, and I try to get those answers as soon as I can for them. And
Everything just moves
it
slow.
moves very slow because it's a lot of approvals. It's through the superintendent, through the principals, through the down to the security, down to the janitors, down to if everyone needs to sign off before we're able to even move forward.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's difficult. Last resort for me would be just renting a facility if they didn't allow it in the community and their
Well,
town.
unfortunately, and I've come across this issue myself, that when you're dealing with small towns,
Yes.
they don't have the
Available
options.
space.
You don't have that option, right? You don't have that. Okay, well, let's not do it at the school. Let's just do it privately at our own venue.
Right.
How many venues have a stage?
None.
None, right?
Our community building here in San Benito, I called about maybe a dozen times to San Benito community building, and I told them, hey, like I'm gonna need a place because I didn't want to do it at the
Right.
high school initially, right? And they're like, well, we haven't opened it up since COVID, and I'm like,
But they had I know they had the ballots, the
yeah,
elections there.
and they have classes
They
there,
have classes and they have events.
meetings,
I
and
think one of the issues is there's not a lot of like okay, so like I can speak for myself, right? A lot of what I've done in my whole life, I've done independently, right?
right,
And I think it started since like I was a kid. My grandparents raised me, did not know English. So any kind of thing happening with the school event, I had to figure it out. I had to like explain it to my grandparents, get them on board, right?
right, of course.
Or convince them that no, 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 you don't have to go to PTA meetings, you know, you don't have to go to teacher conference meetings, you know. But you have to like, I had to like figure it out myself. Then later, when I joined the Marines, it was thrusted upon you to be a leader, to figure it out,
Figure it out, yeah.
right? Ask questions, but ask questions that are gonna get you closer to
To your
to the
answer.
answer, not questions that are like are on,
Right.
you um, and then again, in life as an adult, um, figure it out,
Figure it out. Yeah.
right?
Someone's gonna hold your hand doing it.
And one of the things that I see is a lot of people, not saying names, a lot of people they go to their job, they're paid to do X job, and that's it. They're not there to do problem solving for you.
Right. And I always
So
say
when
that.
you call in and ask them about using a facility, they have the bullet point answer.
This.
If citizen asks about this, say no.
Right.
They're not there to be like, ma'am, it's closed, but I tell you what, give me your name and number. Let me figure out what I can do for you, and we'll definitely give you a call back. Or
Right.
let's figure it out together.
Right.
Right? Let's work together to get you a solution. They don't do that.
See, I always tell my husband, and he's so great at this. I tell him, give me, don't give me problems, give me solutions.
Right.
And this is why I married him, because he gives me every solution in the book. I swear, I can have a problem, I'm facing it, and he's gonna handle it for me,
And
and
I
he'll
and I
help me.
love that you're this kind of person, right? Because I saw it. I see it with the how you speak to these little girls, and you're showing these little girls, right? These young ladies, because it's just not the little girls, but it's also the young ladies, your preteens, your teens, uh, all the way down. You're teaching them that that little girl started crying, right?
Yes,
Because she was frustrated.
she was. She
She
was
was
very
frustrated, but
frustrated.
then instead of like what most adults do, quiet, don't cry, whatever,
Shutting it down.
shutting it down. No, I saw you pull her aside,
Yes.
and you and your mom, because the both of you both have,
A
this is
lot
your
of
life,
experience, yes.
right? And as adults, you had her analyze
The
why she was upset.
situation, yes.
Analyze, okay, what is making you sad? What is making you cry? And she stopped crying because she started thinking about it. Like, why am I crying?
It's not that hard. The way she
It's not
said, yeah,
because
you're
it's
right.
because she goes because it's hard. Okay,
You know math and
but
science.
math and science, and that was hard too, right? Did you cry? She goes,
No,
no. It's like, well, this is just like that. It's not gonna be easy,
it's not, doesn't happen
but
overnight.
you're gonna,
Eventually get
eventually you're
there.
gonna get there. And she smiled
Yes.
because she realized that the initial response of I I I have an emotion, right? I have an emotion that I don't understand. So my initial reaction is to cry.
Right.
or to yell or to be upset or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not teaching our kids to
Express and
stop, analyze, figure out why you're upset,
speak on it
and speak on it.
correctly.
Figure it out,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like start thinking, what can I do to not feel this way,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Right? Who
I
and
think nowadays in school they have the children suppress a
yes,
lot. They suppress a lot of and it's just like the standard take your test, pass, leave. And it's not, I
but
wish they would bring back that old school teaching and that old school method of like, hey, this is what I need to do to get through life.
right.
It's only taught, you're only taught, you take a test, get it over, done with, and
Move
that's
on
it.
to the next.
Move on to the next. And you're just the next kid in my classroom. And it shouldn't be like that
But I
anymore.
love that what you guys are doing with the pageant,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think, I mean, that's why I respect you guys, and I love what this is because these little girls are coming in, and you see them like day one. They're, I sometimes like in the beginning I was like, oh man, why did I allow them to use the gallery, right?
You're right.
Because
Mm-hmm.
they're running.
And yeah,
They're kids.
they're children.
They're children. And then like by the fourth, fifth time, they
Perfect.
come in, they sit down, they're like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because they're being threatened or anything. Like
No.
I by no chance have ever told anybody to like, hey, behave, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And because I let them be them, right?
Right.
And then you guys handle their their creation, their development.
Mm-hmm.
And I see them come in like 2, 3 weeks later, right?
Like
And
new.
they come in, hi sir, and they all hi sir. It's like I'm not part of the pageant, right? I'm just here as as the owner of the studio.
Right.
But they come in, they all say hello, and you
Mm-hmm.
know, thank you, and they have a seat and
Manners.
manners. And then they talk to you, and these are little kids, and they start to talk. They start to develop their speaking skills,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
right, and how to speak to like adults,
Mm-hmm.
right? And again, I love what happened, what I witnessed the other night, where she felt an emotion,
Yes.
did not know how to respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys talked to her like not like an adult, but as a person,
As a person, yeah. Mm-hmm.
and asked her to self-analyze. Why are you crying?
Mm-hmm.
Not in a condescending way, like why are you crying?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
There's,
it,
my
it, it reminds me of that George Lopez joke. Why are you crying?
all
You
the
know,
time.
why are you crying?
Mm-hmm.
Right? No, but you asked her a genuine question.
Yes.
Why are you crying?
Mm-hmm.
And she stopped crying because she had to stop and think about that question.
Right.
And then she answered, because it's hard.
Mm-hmm. Now, what my mom instilled in me um, as a child is tone and approach.
Yes.
She instilled that in me so much because I'm not the perfect person. Nobody is. I've had outbursts and I've had, some days that just get a hold of me. But my mom literally would tell me, hey, watch your tone and approach. You're speaking to a child, you're speaking to an adult, you're speaking to elderly. They don't know as much as you. You think they do, but they don't.
Or humble yourself
Humble yourself.
because you might be screaming at them because you feel that they don't know, and
But it might be
they may know a whole
much more.
much more information, but our arrogance
Yes,
sometimes lets
takes over.
takes over.
See what my mom did back to elementary. My mom, she could have sent me to the best private school and the best, whatever school she wanted to. At the time, my mom was earning great money and we came from a good, household. But my mom decided to put me at the time in the most poverty, lowest rating school here in San Benito, which was Fred Booth Elementary. And she wanted to humble me. She told me, don't ever forget where you come from. These are your friends. They're going to be your friends. You are the same as them. You walk just like them, talk just like them. Nothing is different about you. So humble yourself and learn who you are. And I so appreciate that from my mom. 1,000%, because I could have grown up to be, ugly and mean, and I didn't.
So, speaking of money,
Mm-hmm.
maybe for a lot of parents out there, I mean, times are hard right now.
Yes, very
We have
hard.
inflation,
Very hard.
slow job growth.
Hmm.
You know, it's not
Even for our
it's not a
businesses.
good time right now. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I think everybody's struggling,
Yes, everyone.
right? Um, and I have seen you, um, give breaks,
Oh
with
yeah.
prices and this is for the sake of just so people can participate.
Yes.
I myself have done stuff where, I'll talk to the coaches
Hmm.
and be like, look, talk to me about what the budget is of your kids.
Right.
Are cause I don't want any kid to not be the one that gets a photo. Because I was that kid. I
Yes.
was that kid that everybody was on picture day. Everybody was getting their pictures,
My mother was that child
and my
too.
and my grandma kept the proof.
Proof.
Right?
Hmm.
She would tell me, "Why would I want pictures if I have you?" you know.
Yeah.
So, talk to me about um, realistically,
Our pricing.
are not just your pricing,
Hmm.
but the overall investment, monetary investment that a parent might be expected to make for being involved in pageants.
A pageant. Okay, so we have startup fees that range from $20 to $50, all depending on early registration, things like that. The more girls we have, and we know it's going to be a good pageant, the lower the costs get for them. In my pageants, and my judges know not to look for expense. I do not look for that. I look for creativity. Um,
Some of these girls were very creative during their
Yes,
pageants.
yes. And most of them got their costumes from the thrift store, borrowed, things they have laying around the house. And that's another thing that opens up that, little window in the head. And hey, I don't have to spend $500 on a costume when I can learn to sew, learn to paint, learn to do other things
And that goes
and
back
create.
to what we were talking just a few minutes ago.
Hmm.
Figure it out.
Figure it out.
Figure it out because I know by talking with you and just kind of showing me different photos of like, hey, look, this is what they've done in the past.
Hmm.
And if you had not like told me that like this young girl, her mom went to like a thrift store and bought that jacket for like $5,
Hmm.
I would have thought easy $1,000,
Right, right.
right? But then you're like, look, this, and this is how she did it, and this is how we do this, and it's all together. It was like $100, and
Hmm.
I was like, wow,
Yeah.
and I think again that goes back to people seeing these amazing costumes, right?
Yes.
These
Hmm.
amazing outfits and dresses and evening wear and thinking, I can't spend like $2,000 on all this,
I can't
right?
afford.
I can't
Yeah.
afford that. So you're
Hmm.
not gonna join. But then you again looking at the creativity
Right.
and I think and it matters.
Me,
That
yeah, me breaking it down for the parents is always a little bit complicated because sometimes, the parents might not have the creativity. But I'm always here for answers. They just need to ask me a question, and I've had parents like, I don't know what to do at all. And I'm like, look, how about this? How about this? How about this? Go to the thrift store, do this. And it's not only the thrift store, it can be, um, boutiques here in San Benito and things like that, and they can get sponsored. As a matter of fact, that's what we do too here at our production agency. I have no limit on sponsorship. I know a lot of pageants do like maybe two posters and that's about it. They don't allow the girls to gain as much. And it's not only money, it can be like free makeup, free this, free that, that the other companies give them. I have no limit on sponsorship because if you can earn it and you can ask and they give it to you, might as well, right? It's great. It's a great opportunity for them to even learn how to ask for help when you need it. It's not embarrassing. It's a sponsorship. That's what it's for.
and it's a life skill that I think they have to learn,
Yes,
right?
life skill.
It's a
Hmm.
life skill, right? Because it can't always be so and so has a XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
I should have XYZ too, right? And who's to give who's to give it to me? I think there's a generation right now in our country of like, well, I deserve this, and the government needs to give me this,
Mm-hmm.
and or this person needs to give me that, right? Or my parents need to give me, or
Should.
should give me this,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I love again the skills and the ideas
Right.
of go out, work for it,
Work for it.
right? You can design your own outfit, but if you can go out there and get sponsors,
Mm-hmm.
then go buy it,
Right.
right? But I also love the idea of, okay, that girl has like 50,000 sponsors, right? And
Mm-hmm.
she's got this Versace dress,
Mm-hmm.
but then me and my mom will create this dress for $50
Mm-hmm.
that will rival
Yes.
that dress
And might win.
and might win,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I love that. At the end of the day, it comes down
The skill.
to skill, to
Yeah.
creativity, to determination.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I was taught that at a very early age. My uncle had stage 4 colorectal cancer, so I was a big, I guess, advocate, let's just say, at the age of 10 for American Cancer Society. I was class president in Fred Booth Elementary, and I remember one year my mom telling me, earn it, earn it. We wanted to be the number one school to earn as much money as we could for the American Cancer Society. And I could have easily asked, my dad or anyone, give me $300, give me $400,
Right.
give me a certain amount. I could have easily done that. But no, my mom taught me the skill set. Go and ask and show your face. And it's not embarrassing. So I went. My mom gave me a can, mind you, a Folgers can. And I went to every single house, got down, football games, this and that. And I think we earned a good $5,000 for Fred Booth Elementary that year. I was class president when I was in fifth grade. And I learned that early to always go out and work for something because if there's a will, there's a way, right?
Yeah.
And I just, back to my mom being the person that she was very hard on me. Yes, she was my pageant coach for many years, but I appreciate it because now as an adult, there's no room for error in
No,
my life.
no, no, no. You got a baby coming.
I have a baby coming,
You got a baby
yes.
coming, so there's no
Room for error. And
no.
I told my husband, I go, I'm very hard. I'm a very hard person, very strong-willed, but it's with love.
My grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
right? Love her to death. I love my grandma. She raised me.
Mm-hmm.
I call her mom, right? She
So do
raised me.
I. I call my grandma mom
Yeah,
as well.
'cause she was very fundamental,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
along with my grandfather, but my grandma was very militant,
Mm-hmm.
right? She was very strong. She was very, and sometimes as a kid, you're like, oh, she's mean.
She's so mean.
She's so mean, right?
Yeah.
But then as an adult, like I remember I went to boot camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I was 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
First time I've been outside of the state of Texas,
Mm-hmm.
right? I got on a plane, um, landed in San Diego
Mm-hmm.
with strangers,
Yeah.
right?
Scary, right? Mm-hmm.
Scary. And everybody and there was literally people like scared that, oh my God, we have to get up at 5 in the morning and then this and this and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, 5 o'clock in the morning? That's nothing.
I
Because
live with a general.
yeah, I live with a general. Like I live with a drill instructor because for me, growing up in the country, we had one car.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, right?
Right.
And my grandpa worked late, so he was asleep in the morning. Um, the bus would pick me up at 6 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So by 6 a.m., I was awake. I was showered, dressed, bed made, fed.
Mm-hmm.
She would make
Oh,
us
yes.
breakfast. Something simple, but she made sure that we ate. And I was out there standing tall, waiting for the bus before 6 a.m.
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we went to boot camp, when I went to boot camp, it was like almost easy,
Yeah.
you know, for the most part. I mean, there's struggles, right? But that baseline,
Hmm.
the never give up, it's just you,
Keep on going.
keep on going,
Mm-hmm.
because no one's gonna come and save your butt,
No.
right? Um, no one's gonna be there,
Right.
right? I mean, we have our people.
Mm-hmm.
We have our people that are cheerleaders, right? I
Right.
mean, I have my clients. I love my clients, right? Because my clients are the ones that will cheer me on
Oh,
and
yes.
support me. And 99% of my jobs come from them,
Yes.
references, right?
Right.
Um, but at the end of the day, it's me, right? I'm the one that needs to make sure the bills get
The
paid
bills
and the
get
lights stay
paid.
on, and you know, um, and I love that I had a strong uh, role model in my
Yes.
in my life to teach me that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think things like pageants,
Mm-hmm.
right? At least from what I've seen from you, right? Because I know there's different pageants everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
but at least the ones I've seen from you so far, and just in the little girls has been amazing.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. We try to teach the girls new things and old school things, and we try really, really hard.
Would y'all ever consider doing a pageant for adults?
You know that my mom actually asked me that. She wanted to do an MRS, like Mrs., right?
Mister?
Oh yeah. Well, we're trying to work on that. It's a little harder to get the titles for the boys. We're trying.
Because I would love to bring a crown to the gallery, right?
Yes, of course, of course. But yeah, we tried to
Change the name of the podcast to RA Podcast.
great,
Yeah.
yes. We tried to do that, and I was thinking about it, and I'm like, that would be a really fun thing to do for older girls.
My great great grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
when she was still with us, um, she was, she had Alzheimer's,
Okay.
and she was at a nursing home
Mm-hmm.
in Bronzeville, and they had a pageant,
Oh.
like a little pageant,
Uh-huh.
and it was everybody voted, like the people who lived there would vote,
Right.
and her and another, older gentleman,
Mm-hmm.
she won the title of for Valentine's Day, Miss Sweetheart, Mr. and Mrs. Sweetheart. So I have a
Oh.
picture of her in her crown and sash. So I was just like, and they loved it. I know the folks at that home,
Yeah.
they loved the experience of like
Oh,
having
yes.
their court.
So much fun.
Yeah, yeah, so much fun. And I don't know, you might have luck, with the older folks, with I don't say older folks, but with the older generation, including myself, because it's fun. It just
Yeah,
it gives you a chance to show off.
it does. It
To
does.
go out there and be like, talk about
The
yourself.
best person you can be.
Yes, the
Yeah.
best person you can be, and I think it's a great way to introduce yourself because there's a lot. You have pageants,
Hmm.
right? Um, and then you have like cotillion,
Yes.
right? And then that's
Cotillion.
another way for young ladies to be presented to the community.
Mm-hmm.
You have quinceañeras,
Mm-hmm.
sweet sixteens,
Yes.
um, and then that's it.
That's all they have.
But what about adults?
Yes.
Many of us, like myself, who have been away from like Sam Nito for years,
Mm-hmm.
and I would love to kind of like introduce myself to the community. I think this is a great way for people like that who
Mm-hmm.
are members of the community to introduce themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, yeah. We've had, me and my husband late at night, what we do is we brainstorm. We brainstorm a
I
lot
was about
as
to say,
to
man, this is a PG-13 conversation. So.
late at night we're talking and we're telling, each other ideas and what about we do this and what do we bring this to the community? And there's just a lot of, in store things that I
That's
have,
awesome.
yeah, that I have up here in my head, and we're working on it. And it's not very easy to go and buy, a big title.
Oh yeah.
It's very expensive and it takes a lot of approval, and you have to have, good standing with the city and good standing with Cameron County. It's a lot, it's a lengthy process, but it'll get there. We have a lot of, ideas that are floating around, and hopefully we act upon them pretty soon. We're hoping after April, of course, when I can get back to it on it.
When's your due date?
April 1st.
April Fools.
That's what we're thinking, but they're saying, anywhere 4 days before,
Yeah.
4 days after, 8 days. It all depends. So,
So she's gonna be a little Miss Queen.
oh, for sure, in
She'll be
every
there
pageant.
in every pageant.
Well, she wouldn't be able to compete in mine.
No.
Yeah, she wouldn't be able to compete in mine, but hopefully this sparks other, girls to start their own
Journey.
journey and open up their own production agencies. And it doesn't have to be just pageants. It can be modeling, it can be a lot of other things because we don't have that here in the Valley at all. And it takes quite a bit of work, but you know, hopefully me starting this little movement here, I'm hoping that's what it is, this little opening the door. Um, they start, starting their own companies and things like that, and hopefully we'll have more in the future um, for my daughter to even
Maybe
compete.
one of these days she'll be taking over.
Oh yeah, for sure,
That's
she'll take over. I'm gonna leave her
everything.
everything.
Stevie, thank you so much for coming by, talking with us.